more money people get, the more they think they could get away with? Or do they kind of feel like they get like a God complex and they just Epstein it up like P. Diddy?
From Jay-Z, Beyonce, Snoop Dogg, to Biggie Smalls, and even Justin Bieber. However, this recent case has exposed how truly twisted the celebrity elites truly are. The investigation began initially in November 2023 by Sean's ex-girlfriend, Cassandra Cassie Ventura. She accused him of misconduct and filed a lawsuit. Cassandra and P. Diddy then settled out of court the very next day, and one of his lawyers, Ben Brafman, was clear that it was by no means an admission of wrongdoing. P. Diddy then released a statement wishing Cassandra the best in order to further support the idea that he was innocent. But guilty or not, it certainly left a stain on his name. Cassandra then released a statement thanking her friends and family for their support, and the settlement amount was left undisclosed.
You remember that apology video P. Diddy did? Added to YouTube's apology history.
It seemed to be a case closed, done and dusted job, or at least that's what he thought. Little did P. Diddy know that this would be the beginning of the end for him, and would start the ball rolling with many accusations and investigations that would lead to his demise. A further 2 lawsuits were then filed, with accusations of abuse and sexual assault by 2 other women. Joy Dickerson claimed that in 1991, when she was just a 19-year-old college student, P. Diddy had drugged her after a date and sexually assaulted her in her home. Lizard Gardner.
Man, this dude just has like too much like evidence on him. Like you're done, bro. You're just done.
Gardner was the next victim to come forward, claiming she and a friend were drugged and put in separate rooms where at first, P. Diddy and then Aaron Hall would do awful sexual acts against them. She then found out her friend had the exact same treatment as well, as it seems like they both took turns doing these awful crimes against these girls. Lizard was just 16 at the time, and then a few days later, P. Diddy pitched up at her house and assaulted her again, this time choking her until she passed out, as he was irritated at the thought that Lizard might mention this to his girlfriend. Then in December 2023, another person came forward with more accusations aimed at him.
This almost reminds me of like Jay-Z. Like, how old was Beyonce when he got with her? Just think about that.
He claimed that she had been gang raped and sex trafficked. She said that Harvey Pierre, who was the president of Combs Bad Boy Records, flew her from Detroit to New York in 2023. However, while with them, a third man joined P. Diddy and Pierre and gang raped her. P. Diddy even complained that he couldn't finish until he had his nipples pinched. The suit included a photograph from the night.
I'm sorry, like he couldn't finish until he got his nipples pinched. The modern day Diddy versus the past Diddy looks like he was more into girls, and now the modern day Diddy did more like Roman stuff when they just like be penetrating each other in the butthole.
In question of her sitting on Sheen's lap. She was only 17 then, and was now the 4th woman to come forward in just a matter of weeks. This time P. Diddy did not settle out of court. In fact, he issued a statement on his Instagram saying, quote, "Enough is enough. For the last couple of weeks, I have sat silently and watched people try to assassinate my character, destroy my reputation and my legacy. Sickening allegations have been made against me by individuals looking for a quick payday. Let me be absolutely clear. I did not do any of these awful things being alleged. I will fight for my name, my family, and for the truth." But
you're gonna be fighting pretty hard, Diddy, because this just ages like milk, bro.
There were several red flags hinted by friends of P. Diddy, particularly in Usher's interview with Howard Stern, where subtle suggestions indicate that these new allegations were possibly founded as far back as 2016, back when the interview took place, as Usher described his experiences when he lived with Sheen Coon for a year, and said he was exposed to some very curious things, but at that age he didn't understand it.
I moved to New York City, and I lived with Sean Puffy Combs for a year.
We're sending you over to something called Puffy Flavor Camp.
There you go.
To learn
Flavor Camp.
Yeah,
Flavor
that's
Camp.
what it was called. Puffy's place was like just filled with chicks and orgying like nonstop, right?
Yeah, I'm sorry. Flavor Camp. That sounds so gay. Flavor. Never mind. Don't cancel me. Sorry.
Nah, not really. I mean, but hey, it was curious. I got a chance to see some things.
Yeah, but you were 13. What were you seeing?
I went there to see the lifestyle. I don't know if I could
What did you
indulge
see?
and understand what I was even looking at. It was pretty wild. What I did say is that there were very curious things taking place, and I didn't necessarily understand it.
It's only now that it stands out because it further supports the allegations. When Howard asked Usher if he would allow his own son to participate in the Puffy Flavor Camp, as P. Diddy would call it,
He was probably like,
Usher
hell no.
didn't hesitate to say no.
14 years old. You're a dad now. Would you ever send your kid to Puffy Camp?
Hell no.
Hell no.
In a
Yeah.
Rolling Stone interview with Usher in 2004, he elaborated on his experiences with living with P. Diddy. He said there was always girls around. You'd open a door and see somebody doing it, or several people in a room having an orgy. You never knew what was going to happen. With this in mind,
P. Diddy's Flavor Camp. come back looking like he came back from Never Ever Land.
And it wasn't that surprising that by February 27th, 2024, the producer of P. Diddy's album The Love Album sued P. Diddy for $30 million for sexual assault. He claimed that he was also drugged and woke up in a bed with 2 male sex workers and Mr. P. Diddy himself. His lawsuit included P. Diddy's son Justin, who he claimed would bring underage girls home and then drug them. While
You think P. Diddy did stuff with his son? Or his son did stuff with Mr. Combs?
his dad secretly filmed these sexual acts. Although an adult film actor called D'Angelo Knockout Marquise claimed that one of the photos used in the lawsuit was actually a still from one of his films. Although perhaps discredited, where there's smoke, there's fire, and P. Diddy was now desperately trying to put the fires out as more and more took to flame. P. Diddy actually admits that he did document everything in his life, so any sexual male acts could have easily been caught on tape, and the fear of that exposure will keep some from coming forward as well. Gene Deal, P. Diddy's former bodyguard, said in an interview that the freak-off included P. Diddy having sex with male escorts that his then girlfriend was forced to find.
Nah, P. Diddy come up on me, I'll be like, come on. Oh, you trying to freak off me? Freak off. Freak off.
Looking at this lawsuit, she alleges that, Diddy, he'll make her look online for BBCs for their freak-off sessions. And she say that, in this lawsuit that, Diddy, he enjoyed watching her get smashed by BBCs.
And she was searching for the big black. Not
He was
only
a
for
he was a
herself,
cuckold.
but for somebody else who we all know that was in the room with her. They had to be for both of them. They was in the room.
P. Diddy would make them wear masks to keep their identity from Casey.
She also
How you gonna make people wear masks to keep your identity like a secret when you freaking film everything? Like that's just like you got all the evidence in the world. You probably had like when you like go to a wedding, you sign the registry. Like, come on, sign the registry. Here's your mask. Okay, nobody will know. God damn, they got all the tapes now, all the evidence.
alleges that, while she was having sex with these male prostitutes, the male prostitutes, and Diddy, they all wore masquerade masks.
He didn't want her to know who they were.
Which is why on March 25th, 2024, P. Diddy's homes in both LA and Miami were raided by the Department of Homeland Security Investigations in New York. The raid was part of the investigation of sex trafficking led by the Southern District of New York, perhaps prompted by the now 5 victims who had come forward, one of which was a male who also chose to remain anonymous. Because of this, the investigators seized guns and P. Diddy's phone on the day of the raid. It was reported that over 1,000 bottles of baby oil and lubricant were found on the property. This unusual find would be laughable if it weren't so incriminating.
You think the person or the people, the company that made the baby oil sponsored P. Diddy? As if that was a commercial. I should do that as a comedy skit. The P. Diddy sponsored by whatever baby oil company for 1,000 bottles of baby oil.
Into the horrific charges. It only supported flying rumors of sex parties that would go on for days with drugged up women and male escorts, all performing sexual acts in the quote freak off to satisfy P. Diddy's endless need for lust. In the Los Angeles home, P. Diddy's sons were also put in handcuffs during the raid. It was reported by their mother that the federal agents used excessive unnecessary force and that it was just racially motivated. But it couldn't be any further from the truth. Everyone allegedly involved was being taken down, and over
Yeah, that's not a race thing. That's just you just wanted too many booty holes. you just a freak.
In coming
bro.
months, the truth would unravel about how truly disturbing this Hollywood celebrity culture truly was. Now, P. Diddy's parties are known to be insane, as you can probably tell by the 1,000 bottles of baby oil. At these parties, it was reported that the drugs offered were all designed so that party participants could go on for hours having sex. There was a drink called the 2C, which was dosed with a bunch of drugs. Jaguar Wright explained this in an interview, as she said that P. Diddy would put in Special K, also known as ketchup.
This lady, I guess some of the stuff she said like came true, but I feel like she's just like the mad friend who never got invited to the parties. But good thing she didn't go.
To relax your
Be
muscles.
freaking off
Now,
in
if you
prison.
don't know what cat is, cat is what they call on the street Special K. It's a veterinary drug. It's a horse tranquilizer.
This was then mixed with cocaine and Viagra to counteract the negative side effect of limp noodle, as Jaguar described it, creating the perfect
That whiskey dick?
perfect mix to relax you while still keeping you completely energized for sex.
The cocaine keep you up all night, but unfortunately, it gives you limp noodle because of with the blood flow. So you wants to fuck with a half-hard dick on.
I had a friend once. He was like modeling and stuff like that, and then this girl was just like, "Oh, I'm a bang you all night," and then he was just like how? And then she gave him Viagra and Adderall, and I was just like, what the hell? Dang.
All night. So that's why you had the Viagra, to make sure that the involuntarily stays hard while you're numbing your fucking self with the coke.
Jamie Foxx even said that he'd been to one of these parties, and is very likely that most people in the celebrity LA Hollywood culture would be partaking in this stuff, especially with the recent allegations coming forward in the last couple of weeks. And it's truly disturbing to think what was happening there. Recently, a video was shown by CNN of P. Diddy assaulting Casey, which further supported her claims. The video shows her trying to leave the hotel party, and P. Diddy had already given her a black eye by this point. In the video, P. Diddy's wearing nothing but a towel.
Yeah, one of the things that mostly like brought P. Diddy down was her lawsuit. Like, if she never would have went through with that, it would have took them longer to raid his place.
And as he catches up to her, he violently pushes her down, then proceeds to kick her twice and tries to drag her down the hall. The footage shows further abuse when he throws a bunch of glass in her direction. It's obvious that he's very intoxicated at the time, having just emerged from one of these awful parties. After this footage went public, P. Diddy posted an apology saying he
worst apology ever. This dude, dang, we got the same shirt on? I better shut up.
He was disgusted with himself when it happened, and now he's disgusted with himself now.
It's so difficult to reflect on the darkest times in your life, but sometimes you gotta do that. I was up. I mean, I hit rock bottom, but I make no excuses. My behavior on that video is inexcusable. I take full responsibility for my actions in that video. I'm disgusted. I was disgusted then when I did it. I'm disgusted now.
He claimed that he sought help and went to rehab after the incident.
I went and I sought out professional help. I had to go into therapy and go into rehab.
And I bought more baby oil.
Ask God for his mercy and grace. I'm so sorry, but I'm committed to be a better man each and every day. I'm not asking for forgiveness. I'm truly sorry.
The LA County District Attorney's Office also issued a statement saying that while the video was hard to watch, they could not use it for further action as the footage and incident happened beyond the timeline where it would be of legal use. However, they encouraged others to come forward. It was explained that P. Diddy paid the hotel $50,000 for the footage so that it would not be leaked to the public. The sad reality is that this is the only incident caught on surveillance and actually exposed to the public. However, Casey's lawsuit was riddled with far more horrific accusations.
That girl went through some tumultuous shit that she never thought that she would.
Imagine if you're like a undercover agent and they're like, all right, you're going to be undercover at a Diddy party. And the first thing you see, Diddy's just like, new meat. God damn. Why you got so much bottles of baby oil, Diddy? I'm about to oil you up. And then you're just like putting your resignation like the next day. But then you're like walking all funny because you're like, your butt hurt. You're like, Diddy got to me. Diddy got to me. Okay, let's get back serious. All right.
Ever had to go through being in the music business.
She claimed that P. Diddy would go into fits of rage and that she was his main target of savage beatings.
They went into the bedroom and shut the door, and all I could hear is screaming and yelling and whatever was going on in there, I don't know. But all I could think of was to grab Cassie's things and start packing it up and just getting her out to safety.
She claimed that he would drug her and force her to have sex with other men while he watched, filmed, and masturbated to it. This has since been dubbed as a freak-off, and as we've mentioned, it's come up in many other accusations as well. She also claimed to try to leave him in 2018, which ended up with her getting odd. Casey also claimed that for a brief time she and Kid Cudi started a romantic relationship, but when P. Diddy found out about it, he threatened to set his car on fire and wanted to make sure that Kid Cudi was there when it happened. While it seemed like an idle threat, it did indeed happen. 2 weeks later, Kid Cudi's car was deliberately set alight. As for P. Diddy, this footage of the abuse could not have come at a worse.
I wonder if some more stuff is going to come out, like P. Diddy had the hit on Tupac, or all these other celebrities like LeBron James saying like there ain't nothing like a Diddy party because he's going to be partying in prison too, be balling.
time. He was already being investigated, adding fuel to the fire. Women were coming forward with further accusations, and even men like the Michigan inmate Derek Lee Smith sued P. Diddy for $100 million and won by default. It seemed that P. Diddy didn't even show up to defend himself for this one. In Derek's suit, he claimed that while at a party in Detroit in 1997, he was a victim of groping and sexual assault by P. Diddy.
Sue for $100 million for drug and sexual assault? I mean, if he won, I don't know if he won, but that's a lot to sue somebody for. But I guess he has the money.
And once these accusations started coming forward, people started realizing that P. Diddy was just the tip of a giant iceberg, of a huge Hollywood conspiracy. You see, Eminem, who's known to rap out his opinions, recently dropped a line in his Killshot diss track, mainly aimed at Machine Gun Kelly, that brought up the possibility of P. Diddy's involvement in Tupac's murder. The line that had fans reeling went, "Kill was the day you put out hits, the day Diddy admits that he put the hit out that got Tupac killed."
But he did that a
which was
lot.
then followed by, "I'm just playing Diddy, you know I love you." And many share Eminem's suspicions.
But he didn't do it in his new album. He totally just blasted Diddy. Like 3 different songs in his new album, The Death of Slim Shady.
Although there has been no real proof of it. It is possible that Eminem is not holding back as P. Diddy's record company Bad Boy Records is funding MGK, who was gunning for Eminem. But Eminem didn't stop there. In other songs like Antichrist, he brings up the video of P. Diddy and Casey and makes fun of possible reasons for P. Diddy to chase Casey. In another song, Fuel, he brings up the lawsuit and insinuates that P. Diddy tried to have Tupac's alleged murderer killed.
Yeah,
in
that
another
one.
song, Bad One, Eminem raps about P.
Yeah.
Diddy possibly blowing up Kid Cudi's
Yeah.
car. It hit such a nerve that P. Diddy demanded a public apology
What a
from
banger.
Eminem. He believed that the rapper had gone way too far and was doing more damage to his reputation in light of the new developments. Well, he's not wrong, because Eminem's fanbase outnumbers any other rapper, and they tend to be loyal and hang on to their every word. Especially when it comes to the disturbing life behind the scenes in the music industry and Hollywood world, people trust that Eminem isn't just making this up. All these allegations seem to stem from a time when P. Diddy came off as...
I feel like a lot of celebrities are just straight freaks, you know? Some of the way they like dress and stuff. Look, I got like a normal plain shirt on. Could you imagine like somebody, Playboy Cardi or something, just like freaking over here, just like, yeah, that's my new style, man. Like, raise your fucking hat, bro.
as a powerful icon in the industry. This speaks to the intimidation and manipulations used to keep all those people quiet. In 1999, certain testimonies indicate that P. Diddy got away with a shootout in a club. At the same time, P. Diddy and his then girlfriend J-Lo went to the club and got into an altercation with Matthew Scar Allen. P. Diddy knocked a drink out of Matthew's hand, which sparked the violence, where P. Diddy threw money in his face as a sign of disrespect. As it got heated, both of them
J-Lo
drew
must have
their
been at
guns
some of
and
those
fired
freak
into the
offs.
crowd. 3 victims survived to tell the tale, but one victim in particular stands out. Now, Tanya Rubin reports that she saw P. Diddy do the shooting while Sheen shot into the ceiling. She herself was shot in the face, and her testimony has not wavered since.
Where's the wound?
I watched them both fire their guns. I watched them. And that is exactly how I sit here today. Because some thug criminal with an attitude and an ego that was outside of control decided he was going to fire a gun in a crowded nightclub and shot me in my face.
She was so adamant about it that she offered to get bullet fragments
dodging like the
from her skull
Matrix.
to use as forensic evidence. However, P. Diddy was once again acquitted, with Shane taking the fall, being sentenced to 10 years in prison.
I know a lot of money, you have like a lot of power, but it can only go so far until like you got so much evidence built against yourself from filming. As soon as they raid your stuff, you're done.
The strings behind the scenes once again, and P. Diddy got away scot-free. This was even brought up in Rodney's suit, as P. Diddy would tell him that he even got away with shooting people and would display his guns to instill fear to keep Rodney silent and compliant. The more we uncover about P. Diddy's life, the more these testimonies start to line up a very dark picture of what it takes to actually succeed in the celebrity culture, and how truly powerful the people pulling the strings really are. P. Diddy just seems to be the tip of the iceberg, just one guy who was so clumsy, made so many obvious mistakes, and became so hated by the industry that he's finally now being exposed. But who knows how many other people are out there doing the exact same thing or even worse. But soon another 2 victims would come forward. This time the model...
Yeah, how many celebrities are doing the exact same thing or maybe even worse? I mean, it doesn't necessarily have to be in the US. It could be somewhere else. I don't know where, but
Crystal McKinney, who claimed she met P. Diddy in 2003 at a fashion event. He found her attractive and offered to help her with her career, and once he had her at his studio, he gave her alcohol and offered her laced marijuana, stating, "You've never had weed like this before." Quickly, she was very intoxicated, and P. Diddy took her into a bathroom and forced her to perform some certain acts. Later on, she woke up in a cab, but luckily remembered what had happened, and she kept her clothes in plastic if they were ever needed for forensics. But because of his power, she only filed the lawsuit in May of 2024. April Lamprose is another victim of a much older but longer case. In 1994, she would meet P. Diddy, as he offered to mentor her in pursuing a fashion career. However, this would turn into a lawsuit of 4 incidents where...
What's that on his teeth? I don't know. I need to brush your teeth, bro.
P. Diddy would sexually
Brush your
assault
teeth,
her
Diddy.
over the next 6 or 7 years. If she refused his advances, he would go berserk, which almost made her feel obliged. P. Diddy then taped it all without her knowledge and had shown these clips to others. She felt like he had the power to ruin her career in an instant, so she always had to be
Is that a diamond?
careful.
Oh,
After
no.
a few years, she bumped into him again. This time he apologized for his behavior, but then fell straight back into his old tricks to lure her in. The indictment revealed that P. Diddy also threatened his victims, including by threatening to expose the embarrassing and sensitive recordings he made of freak-offs, if the woman didn't comply with his demands. Kidnapping, also one of the charges, was
It makes sense now. That's why he wasn't in some of the freak-offs, because if he had to blackmail people, he couldn't blackmail them with him in it. So he just used it later to be a freak with baby oil by himself. I bet you he never filmed himself. He always filmed other people.
briefly mentioned in a joking manner in a Conan interview with P. Diddy, where he says, quote, "I don't know if you guys have noticed this, a lot of ladies drink water at parties. They just, so if you don't have what they need, they're gonna leave. You need locks on the doors." And while the crowd laughs at the time, it's only in hindsight do we realize how disturbing the statement truly was.
I don't know if guys have noticed this, like a lot of ladies drink water at parties. They just, so you have, if you don't have what they need, they're gonna leave.
Right.
Gotta keep them there.
Right.
You need locks on the door.
Doesn't everybody drink water at a party?
Which is why last week on September 16th, 2024, P. Diddy was finally arrested at a hotel in Manhattan on charges of sex trafficking, racketeering, conspiracy, and transportation to engage in prostitution. His lawyers claimed he intended to hand himself in, but wasn't awarded the chance. He also claimed that he had handed over his passport, but it was cleverly worded as he had only handed it over to his lawyer, not the federal government. The reason this is important is because he was trying to show that he was not a flight risk, and therefore able to be released on bail. If P. Diddy did try to leave the country, it would turn into a nightmare of trying to get him back. However, his lawyer would have discouraged this. Still, it didn't matter because the judge denied his bail. His lawyer then appealed bail on the 18th of September, offering $50 million, which was again
Like where he's gonna go. I could see that forehead from a mile away. Even if you go across seas, I could see that from space.
denied, and P. Diddy is now facing up to life in prison should he be convicted of the long list of charges, including forced labor, kidnapping, arson, bribery, and obstruction of justice. P. Diddy and his team tried to silence many witnesses with bribes, but while his life went from expensive cars and parties with some of the most rich and famous pop stars in mansions and hotels, he's now confined to 4 walls of a prison cell, waking people up to how disturbing this Hollywood industry
Dang, it was different. Like in Roman times, you could be like doing all this like freaky stuff and people offing everybody, ghosting everybody, deleting them. But today's society, like you try to do any of that, they're gonna delete you, put you in prison, take all your stuff and sell it.
truly is. It's also known that the Metropolitan Detention Center in Brooklyn, where he's currently being detained, is known to be hell on earth. It's the same prison that housed R. Kelly, who faced very similar charges, and Mr. Jeffrey was also a former inmate before he was found dead. Since the second appeal of bail was denied, P. Diddy has been put on an S-Watch. His lawyers have said that they'll fight this with all they have, as they believe he's innocent. But it's believed that the defense attorneys have an airtight case,
Innocent?
very confident that their investigation findings will secure a guilty verdict. Regardless of the outcome, his career is completely over. He's been exposed for all the vile stuff, and now the truth just seems to keep on unraveling. All his business colleagues and former friends have done everything they can to distance themselves from him. It appears that Usher's deleted a bunch of tweets to get some distance, and even though he claims he didn't do this, it does seem very suspicious and nobody really believes him. But many celebrities are too scared to even speak out against P. Diddy, and some might fear the footage the feds have that could implicate them. It's been reported that Justin Bieber is so shocked by the crimes of P. Diddy that he's unwilling to talk about it. And after all the videos of him and Justin Bieber have surfaced back online, it's said that Justin's completely shut down. And you can
I bet you one of the big downfalls would be if Justin Bieber like said something and speak out, but I don't think he wants to because he probably did some freaky stuff and doesn't want the public eye to see it.
You can only imagine some awful things have happened behind the scenes that we'll never truly know about. Justin, who once looked up to and admired the music mogul, now regrets collaborating with P. Diddy on his latest album, and there's probably way more to it than just that.
You guys see that video where like Justin Bieber was like down doing something and freaking come up and then he just has like a whole bunch of like sauce on the side of his face? Some white sauce.
More information has also been leaked about
Disgusting.
how P. Diddy funded Bad Boy Records by drugging his guests with food and drinks and then filming orgies to blackmail the elite's high-profile guests. Castle Black made the claim and said he had been waiting to come out with the truth about his knowledge of the matter. But no matter what, this entire scandal should really highlight how disturbing the celebrity world really is, how there's power brokers pulling strings behind the scenes, controlling everyone in the industry.
Definitely.
If you don't fall in line, you can easily be blackmailed, which makes it so that it's almost impossible to know what's really going on. But with more clues like this, people are starting to wake up to how truly awful the celebrity industry truly is.
Yep. All right, guys, that's about it. Let me know in the comments what you think. How many other celebrities you think are gonna get busted? Like LeBron James, ain't nothing but a Diddy party, but that's it for now. Until next time.